should enter. Is this working? I think it's working. Can you guys hear us?
I don't think anybody's in the chat yet.
No, not yet.
You know what we need to do? We need to
post about it.
Boost it. Yes. I don't think people have notifications on.
No. They don't. For us.
It's rookie mistakes.
AAT Sports. Though I do wonder. Should probably go on YouTube. And if you're somebody watching this,
look at this. I got the link right here.
You're watching us
struggle.
Yeah, watch us struggle. Trying to do a show here, Pat Bernard.
Oh, come on, man.
Trying to see if this shit works. Oh, we got two people. Can you? Oh, you're probably one of them.
No, I'm on the lane.
You all, can you hear us or see us? 4 people. Everybody, if you're watching this, thank you. We're trying something new. Failed with getting a better microphone, but we got, I think, the live stream going.
Let us know in the chat. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, T-Mac, there he is. Hey, T-Mac, there he is. Union back 0-0, baby, as Jim Curtin mentioned after the game in the press conference. Stop the bleeding a bit, I guess. I don't know. For what it's worth, it seems like it was just another result that, in reality, I guess, that could have been a loss really easily.
Yeah, it could have been like towards the end where I had a chance. Was it Harper? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, there was a couple chances out there at the end where Andrew Rick comes up with a couple big saves. First career clean sheets. I mean, that was really big by Andrew on the night, and they needed that. I mean, Jim Curtin talked about needing a spark. He talked about it again during his midweek press conference, saying we're looking for any spark we can get. And I do believe that Andrew Rick gave it to the team tonight. They switched her 3 in the back, Damian Lowe's back from Copa America with Jamaica. Jim Curtin told us after the Chicago game that there was a surgery that his daughter had to have, Damian Lowe's specifically, and he had to miss out for the game against Chicago. He would return tonight against New York Red Bulls, and the Union kept a clean sheet, and a big part of that was by the back line. I don't think they did anything that was out of the world, but they kept Red Bull quiet, and of course Red Bulls had chances tonight, but Andrew Rick played big.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? As Todd and I were sitting in the press box watching the game, it sort of struck me that, and I tapped Todd's shoulder and said, I think Andrew Rick has been the man of the match in this game, and I think he really was. Yes, some shots were really shot at him. Pat Bernard's over here. He's probably going to chime in too. Andrew Rick, just absolutely stellar considering the circumstances, right? Very first rivalry game, a back line that's probably hobbling at this point, right, in terms of depth, lack of it. And we also got sort of breaking news in a way that this is the last game for Jack McGlynn and Nate Harriel until they come back from the Paris Olympics, which I believe their first game or the first game of the Paris Olympic kicks off on the 24th.
Sounds about right.
I think so. For some reason, I was going to say 17th, but something's in my head for the 17th. It might be. It's in July. So nonetheless, as you look at the next 3 games, going to Toronto, coming back to New England, and then playing Nashville right before Leagues Cup, no Jack McGlynn and no Nate Harriel, which is going to be, I think, a very difficult thing to replace, especially as you think the lack of depth and desire to play players like, what's his name, Macania, right, who continues to be a Union 2 player, and that's totally fine, but just difficult to justify. July 24th is their first game, yeah. So, Pat, you want to hop on, say a little something? We got Pat Bernard here from
Edge of Philly Sports.
Edge of Philly Sports. I was going to say EOP, but I want to say it right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, the story was right there in front of you guys. I mean, look, 0-0. Defense was there tonight, surprisingly. I mean, the goaltending was there. I've been calling for Andrew Rick to be up here. I've seen things he could do, and Union 2 had come down here for a lot of Union 2 games. Just watch his footwork and compare Oliver Silver, who's been struggling as of late. Just needs a break or two, and then you see the offense. I mean, look, these guys took plenty of shots tonight, but completely missed the net, and no one really found the back of the net. This is where this team is lacking, is a playmaker. Listen, Julian Cross, as Coach said here in the press conference, I'm going to paraphrase it. He's not going to come through his locker room door anytime soon. The front office needs to go in the transfer window. Go get him a striker. Go get a playmaker or such. They spent tons of money on the practice fields. I'm pretty sure they got something in their change to bring in somebody. But, yeah, that's pretty much their story here tonight. Like I said, 0-0 tie. Stop the bleeding for now. Maybe they can build off of this. Again, the problem is you need a playmaker out there on the offensive side of the ball. And inconsistency is not going to do it.
And here we have a comment from Home Field Advantage. Happy with Rick's performance. Glad he increased more chances today. It's just about capitalizing. Gastag also played great. I just need him to put some of the shots away. And you know what? It's interesting with Gastag today. Had a couple opportunities to, I think, strike, but unfortunately just couldn't, or was in a tough situation in terms of angle, pressure, etc. And as we were sitting again in the press conference, I tapped Todd and asked him, does Julian Carranza in a game like this, with the way that the bodies are feeling and the lack of depth, does Julian Carranza help put this game away? And I think the resounding answer is really yes, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and for me personally, I'm not speaking for these two guys, but me personally, I mean, I was a little bit surprised seeing the Union play three in the back. I think we knew that was going to happen, but I was surprised that the Union were creating chances, because they've tried to play three in the back, five in the back, whatever you guys want to call it, multiple times this season, and they haven't been good in it. They haven't created chances. They've let up a lot of chances. And yes, I know that the Union let up chances tonight, but the chances were there that the Union created. Guys like Jose said, had a couple chances tonight. Chris Donovan had a header in the first half that was off target. We saw in the second half, Gazag and Ty Bariba both had a chance from open play around like the 56th minute. Carlos Cornell came up with a big save twice on that play. So it's not like the chances weren't there for the Union. And at the same time, we were talking about, for people that are just joining, we see people continue to join the chat. So thank you guys live here at Subaru Park. We saw that.
Actually, if you are at Subaru Park watching this, come on over here. Let's chat.
We're at the,
really on the street. We're behind with the tifo that wasn't brought in. I want to know more about why that tifo wasn't brought in.
Maybe next game. But no, like Elias Manuel, he had a chance in the 86th minute, wide open, a .54 XG rate I saw on FootMob. Should have put that one in the back.
No, don't fucking bring XG into this conversation. You know that's a stat line that I absolutely.
Well, that's one he should have been putting in the back of the net. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw that too. Yeah, what's going on, buddy? Team went to the bench early. Really someone like immediately in that second half, trying to get a spark, and then late at the second, he tries to bring Bedoya back in there for another spark. But unfortunately, like I said, just nothing panned out. Nothing panned out as far as finding the back of net. And that's where, like you said, it's very consistent out there trying to score goals. You're going to get those nights where Rebo and those guys are going to look good. The next night, they got nothing for us.
I think, and I want to get someone's opinion here who's next to us. Evan, last name Cohen, right? Yes. Evan Cohen, who you often see him on Twitter. You often see him around the tailgates, and you see him commenting and sharing news about the team. I think what really stole or maybe took something away from the game today in terms of headlines and atmosphere in a way was sort of what was I think supposed to be a protest / showing of I don't know,
displeasement.
Yeah, I don't know, just not happy with ownership and leadership. Evan, just come over here in the middle. You want to talk a little about what you witnessed today in terms of I guess what was supposed to be 5 minutes of silence. I don't know if that actually happened. I was in and out of the press box getting water. I don't know what you saw. Just get a little closer.
So I think the idea of today, which I think a lot of people miss too, is this was not, worst case scenario, we want this team sold by next week, everything awful. This was, we're going to, for the first time in years, officially show our displeasure and officially show, hey, we're not going to sit here and take this many games dropped after one another. And I think it was kind of like the entry level to showing, I guess, the distrust with ownership, at least as a unified front. And so I think that's why something like doing the 5 minutes from being in there, the 5 minutes were really noticeable as soon as everyone started after that. I know there was a little bit in the corners, it was different, but at least I was right in the middle at 137. It went from really quiet to really loud. It felt noticeable. It felt different. And I think that showed throughout the game. I think people were louder and more involved. And I mean, again, like it was the starting level. It was the first show. And I saw there's a meeting with ownership already. So I think that was kind of the eventual goal.
So I think that meeting was actually. Oh wait, there's something scheduled.
Apparently, it was. They said like an hour ago that Sons of Men have accepted a meeting with ownership.
I need to see a tweet of that.
It went on Twitter.
That's too funny. And now, Evan, thank you for chiming in and sharing with us. I think what I was most intrigued about, and it's a small but mighty group as the Keystone Ultras and what they did with their sign, and obviously taken down whatever the policy is. I don't know it. I don't bring signs into the stadium anymore. I only brought one sign once, and it was it was actually against
sign Ronaldinho.
No. The sign I brought was against FC Montreal, and it actually said, "Sam Piet looks like something I drew with my left hand." So as dumb of a sign as you could ever get. But man, that sign was strong today in terms of sharing their, I guess, displeasement, whatever. He's not happy with ownership. And one of the members, I know it's probably backwards, but threw a T-shirt out my way. So again, reasonable minds can defer on what the move is here or what is the right situation or way to show this, right? And I think, to be clear, I stand on the side of, the players are giving it their all. Coaching has made cakes out of crumbles, and just not getting the bodies. And of course, I know there are things moving around in the back end. Things are percolating in terms of working towards a solution or working towards something, whether it's going to happen or not, come July 18th or during that window, which I think ends August, 20 something.
That's about right.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, and this is not a team to usually add in the summer. I mean,
you look last year, Ty Baribo, Alawaki Makanya were the only two players that we brought in, and we saw only 5 games last year for Ty, and nothing yet for Makanya. Still waiting on that debut. I know he's playing with Union 2, who haven't. You go to a lot of games.
Yeah.
I don't know. You think he's ready for Union 2 first team games, or?
I absolutely don't think he's ready for the first team, but he's been much better this year than last year.
We don't want to see it, if you don't mind.
He was very mistake prone last year, which you expect from a young center back. And I think this year's been a lot more solid. Him and Pierre have made a really great pairing. And
for the record, I don't believe that Neil Pierre will ever play for the first team. I think he's too good. He's way too good to ever step in MLS.
I totally agree. He's been fantastic. The two of them together, they're two really tall, physically dominant center backs.
Yeah.
We've seen McConaughey get on the end of some corners, and he's actually
What a goal.
Yeah, he scored. We were up in New England and saw that.
Props to you. Kudos. I'm actually really intrigued. At some point within the next week, I would think, if not Monday or sometime Monday through Friday next week, we will find out the U.S. U20 roster.
Yeah.
Which should have the names of Vasquez. I doubt a CJ having only gotten a call up about a month ago. But then again, stranger things have happened. If you look at Nate Harriel and his meteoric rise from last October. October when I was out in Arizona, actually. So that was his very first Olympic call-up. And maybe, just maybe, Anil Pierre at 16 sneaks into a U20 CONCACAF championship. So it'll be interesting, again, as you think about the depth pieces and maybe taking a step back, looking at the roster today. I know we're 13 minutes in. Feels like we've been talking longer considering how long ago.
It's probably because it's so hot out here.
Yeah, hot as hell. Are you 21?
Almost.
Are you 21?
Yes.
Do they have beer in there?
I don't think they have any left.
Damn it. I'm intrigued onto, if you think about what the rosters look like today or the sheets, right? You saw
only 5 players on the bench from Union.
A team that's lacking depth, but you still have only Vasquez, Macanya traveling to New England by bus. And not being part of a roster. And as we saw the dying embers of the game, Jack Elliott, Kai Wagner, both holding the back of their legs. We didn't get a chance to really ask a question about it,
I
but
would assume probably just because of heat and everything, fatigue, and
But we thought the same about Bueno, and next thing you know, he's out for a week. Who knows, whatever's happening with his ankle. So again, the optics are tough, I guess, in a way of needing depth, but then having relative depth that's being spread between Union 2 and the main team that it's difficult to get excited about. So and thank you. What's your name? John showed me the message. Does it really say like Jay Sugarman wants to talk to the Sons of
It
S?
said union ownership.
What the hell?
The minority owners.
it's all the people that are harassing Kevin Durant.
Holy shit! Yeah, Kevin Durant's gonna show up to Union Yards of a meeting.
I'll say that.
I wonder what it'll be. This is a question for Sons of N leadership. I know we're moving away from the topics here, but meeting minutes. I want to know what the meeting minutes are for something like that. If any. What's up, Pat?
So get Frank Ross.
My whole thing is,
You gotta get closer because you're using the regular mics.
when I heard you talk about the season, and the number one thing I heard you say is, "Hey, Jillian."
She goes by Jill.
I'm sorry, Joe.
No, just kidding.
Listen, this whole season has been derailed since opening day. I mean, you had Andre Blake kind of go down. You've had your number one striker is going, doesn't plan on coming back. The front office really has no explanation of bringing in another striker. They kind of just rely on the same team that they keep them, from 2 years ago, and they think that 2 years ago it's going to bring them the same kind of progress. And no, it's not. I mean, the guys I think have caught on Jim Parent's game. I kind of saw it tonight, and maybe it was just the pass. Something about that game, but I mean, the Red Bulls, I mean, play to their strengths. I mean, every time they want to go past the rock, kind of figure them out. I mean, luckily, like I said tonight, you had the defense kind of step up for the Union team, and that was a big plus. You can build off that. It's just now the inconsistency of your offense. It's what's going to hurt this team.
Now, is the Union look ahead, unless there's any final thoughts on this match today? I think we saw and we spoke about what we saw. Do you have anything else you wanted to add specifically?
I mean, it's if you look at positive, it's a step in the right direction, right? Where you've conceded 14 goals in your last 4 games. This is a lot of goals to concede, especially the way that just this team derailed against Chicago. 3 goals conceded in the last 10 minutes. So, I mean, yes, of course you want all 3 points. And the Union have been horrible at Subaru Park. I mean, I think everybody here knows that. And, yes, people would kill to see a win. But, a draw for a team that's in 5th place, I believe Red Bulls were coming into this game. It's a step in the right direction. And as this team gets players back healthy, as they come back from tournaments, like we saw Damian Lowe come back, Jose Martinez should be available against Toronto on Saturday. Alejandro Bedoya, who was injured for the last couple of weeks, came off the bench. Mikel Uhr, we'll see what he's like during halfway. Maybe he can appear on the bench for the Union and Toronto. So,
and Bedoya got stuck in right away. He got very stuck in.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. Of course, you need all 3 points at this time in the season, but you take a draw, you take a clean sheet, and especially with this team, just the way that they can see goals, you finally have, a building block. And so, it's something small, and yes, you still have reasons to be upset that, the Union didn't get all 2 points, that they didn't score. I would argue Pat, that the offense hasn't been the issue. I mean, you look, 3 goals against Chicago, you look, 2 goals in Montreal, 3 goals away in Montreal. I mean,
guys.
Cincinnati, and they're still
coming from everywhere. They're coming from
exactly.
They're coming from
guys that you don't expect. Chris Donovan scoring last game, Ty Baribo getting his first 2 goals. So it's like players are stepping up, but it's like the defense has been the issues the last couple of games, and it seems like there's a step in the right direction in correcting that.
I thought Damian Lowe being back was really good tonight.
It was.
He was
I thought
great.
he tried to do a little too much with the ball at the end a few times, but that's what he does. And, I thought he looked really solid. Maybe that's just because he hasn't had the fatigue of dropping these last couple games late, but 94 minutes of just a fresh face, and it felt different. It felt like a game they lose the last couple of weeks.
I'll ask you that too. I mean, you brought up being different. I personally, when the players were walking around the locker room, it felt different to me. I mean, you saw the players smiling, a little bit more happier, because
it was Nate Harrell. He's going to the fucking Olympics. Of course, he's smiling ear to ear.
Did you not see Ty Baribo in the back just walking around like?
I think he was smiling because he had food in his hands. But yeah, I was just kidding. No, I think you're right. The mood it has lightened quite a bit, right? In terms of not dark and gloomy in there, silent. I wasn't here for one of the last games where, holy shit, like
Charlotte, I think.
Yeah, it's just like you could hit a pin drop, and it was just sort of okay, like you have no issues. And that was one game I missed, and I remember you sharing audio. And I'm thinking to myself, this is as crystal clear as I've ever heard audio, and it's usually because they have music playing or
it was
kids. We have there's Mandy. What's up, Mandy? Make this live from the lot. Hey, that's a good name, live from the lot. Or a regular post-game thing. It's great hearing everyone. Mandy, does it sound clear despite Union Yard's bullshit across the street? Please let us know in the chat. It did feel different in there. And, I honestly, and I've shared this with you, I've known about the 2 Olympians for about 2 weeks at this point, it feels like. Just can't be any happier for those 2, right? Like, what an incredible opportunity to go and represent your nation. Best 18 players to go out there and show their all and try to bring a gold medal back. It's such an incredible honor, and you can't help but to smile in terms of like what it means for the Union, but also these 2. I guess I can say kids. I'm a soon to be 34-year-old man, but like these kids who you watched or I watched playing with Bethlehem Steel at one point. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the Olympians or anything like that as we sort of move to maybe thinking a little bit about, the week ahead.
I mean, it's a huge honor, right? I mean, of course, it's going to be a miss. I mean, Nate Ariel, I mean, people know how I feel about Olivier Beizer, so seeing him now be the starting right back for the foreseeable future, it's not great, but try not to think too negative yet. I mean, it's great for Nate, it's great for Jack. I mean, you talked about it a little bit ago, how Nate came on the scene late, and he hasn't turned a blind eye. I mean, he's just continued to progress, and I've been really happy with his progression. And yeah, of course, it's going to be a huge loss, but you feel very, very happy for these guys. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And Jose and I were talking. We believe these are the first two current Union players to ever represent the Union while playing for the U.S. So, I mean, that's a really, really big honor right there with Jack and Nate. And so hopefully they bring back a medal. Hopefully they represent the U.S. well. I'm sure they will. I mean, just thinking about, of course they want to make America proud, but like they're putting their families on the map for the whole world to see. So, I mean, just, of course, you have the badge, USA, but you also have the last name, McGlynn, Harriel, and it's like everybody's going to know that name if you have a good tournament. So, I mean, it's a lot of pressure, but it's also something you can take pride in.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect segue, thinking about the two bodies that will no longer be with the Union until they come back from the Olympics. Looking at Saturday, you're thinking potentially Vasquez gone, who, if he were to be added to the roster one more time, he would actually hit the budget versus being an addition off the roster that gets, forgiven budget-wise. Jack McGlynn, Nate Ariel, not going to be there. You do get Jose Martinez back, but it's almost like, again, a rotating door of bodies that are coming and going. And losing Gastak and Martinez is one thing. Is it similar, equal to, greater than, less than? I'm not sure in terms of, swapping impact-wise, Gastag and Martinez for Ariel and McGlynn. Tough to tell. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on how, they're going to line up, or how do you even put this team together going to Toronto, where right now I'm just even thinking about last year's terrible loss. It's at Toronto. I don't know. How do they put this team together?
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, you losing your second best chance creator in Jack McGlynn, so you probably expect the offense to take a little bit of a hit. Kai Wagner, I think, slow down just a little bit, in terms of chance creation. But I mean, getting a player like Jose Martinez, who was clearly fired up at Copa America, and so hopefully he brings that same energy, that fire. He was electric. Jim Kirchner talked about it tonight. So,
holy shit!
I mean, hopefully he can continue to bring that energy, like Damian Lowe, to your point. Brought tonight, I thought, for the Union. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what you hope these guys bring. And then, yeah, like you said, I mean, it's tough losing two more guys while you get more players back. But I don't know, 12 games left, I think.
Which is crazy how fast the season has gone.
It is.
Because Jim said it, 6 home, 6 away. And I think the Union not only have to take care of business themselves, but also hope for some results to fall their way. And that's unfortunate, especially in this league, because you have weeks like Miami has had in terms of not having Messi, but still continuing to accumulate points. But then you go to a week like today, and Miami gets trounced 6-0. It just doesn't. Sometimes this league just doesn't make sense. Goal, okay, 6-1, sympathy goal, I guess. I wonder what Toronto looks like. I'm also eager to hear from Jim come Friday or whenever the press conference happens. What does this additional time, what did it allow you to practice in terms of tactics or the group together? He often talks about how grueling it is to have a Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
That's a good thing. I mean, they have a week until the next game, but then you go back and I think New England on Wednesday, and then Nashville on Saturday, then Leagues Cup, I think it is. So just the 1 week. It's like, so it's all coming fast. So it's like you said at the beginning, it's positive. You get a draw. You need all 3 points. But yeah, I saw this comment. I was checking at it.
Shit, Eric. Very nice. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add. I know we're closing into 25 minutes and want to be mindful of everybody's time.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at this and listen. No one thought we could give Cincinnati a run, right? So maybe look, Jim's going to have his PC squad out there, and maybe they could shock the world and put something together. Like, one thing I can never tell is Jim's his brain with this offense. And the way he can scramble off something. Looks, he's got a week to work with these guys, so he'll come up with something. And I think, like I said, he might not win, but I think he'll push that Toronto team to win.
Out routes, right? That's all he needs to do. Out routes.
Out routes.
Yeah.
Yeah, first square R2. You know what I mean?
That's R2. Yeah. Yeah. Toronto will be very, very interesting. And I don't know if that game specifically, I think maybe I'm underplaying in my head how important this draw was, because if this was a loss, just how awful.
Oh, it's different. People aren't standing here with us.
No, I think all of these guys probably would have headed their asses home and whatnot.
We're doing this win, loss, or draws.
No. And yeah, God, yeah. So, and I don't know. I think maybe we'll do this again next week when we come back. Todd's awesome Verizon connection. Hopefully it's going well. We thought about sticking around over at the press box, but frankly, I'm afraid to get booted out. And
I think we'd be fine.
Yeah, we'd probably be fine. Maybe it's worth floating.
But I don't know. The more that we do this, I don't know. I feel like we could get more people. So I mean, Evan, John, Kyle,
yeah. Kyle, how'd you feel about Jesus Bueno's ankle?
Dude, that's a good
I
question.
don't know who did it. I need his head on a stick tomorrow.
Okay, so you didn't watch the game.
Well, I did.
No, I'm just kidding. No, that's a question that thing needs to be asked, right? Like, how's Jesus
will he be
Bueno?
available on Saturday? Yeah.
Yeah, I think people often mistake, and this is me rambling to people who are watching. I think people are very, very critical about the questions that we ask, but don't realize the pressure we're in to come up with questions that are both meaningful, worthwhile, and correct in terms of context. That we can't think of it all. So just cut us a break, like from time to time, just give us a break. But yeah, maybe we can try this again when we come back.
People say the audio is good. I don't know
Yeah.
how it is. I'll listen to this like after we're done, since it's live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I think that's everywhere. So you guys are saying the audio is good. So we'll mess with that next week, see if we can get it better. But
I won't promise every weekend or every
Yeah.
post game, because I am not sitting out here in the fucking winter. I'll tell you that much. And I can't imagine that
I mean,
gets great service.
there's nice fire pits over there. So
Yeah, but
all taken.
I don't know. I don't know about Union Yards. Do we still think it's bad luck? Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
100.
I think we've all accepted that it's the team at this point.
That's why everybody's over here, right?
Yeah. Well, they're probably cleaning up and doing the rest, whatever. We can just drag. Hey, there's the cat. BR.
So
Is it BR or Burr?
we are.
BR. Okay. Cool. Well, everybody, thank you so much. We'll circle back, watch this, see if it worked out. Maybe do it when we come back next. Not this Saturday, the following Saturday, or is it
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Saturday.
The following Wednesday. Are you coming to that? I know Wednesday games are tough for you because you actually work.
To be determined. To be determined.
Okay, we'll figure out if we do something the next Wednesday home game. But for now, thank you everybody for watching, putting up with our bullshit. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see if this works out. But thank you everybody.